everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tell Me Everything. Today, I'm really excited. I have a special guest with me. He is a photographer in New York, and his name is Curtis Taitt. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you.
You're
Happy
welcome.
to be here.
And for those of you who don't know, I actually met Curtis on a run. I was running through Manhattan. This was probably a few months back, and I noticed this beautiful model with this insanely gorgeous dress. I will never forget it. It's like a canary yellow dress, and it was avant-garde, and it had all this extra tulle, and it was beautiful. And it stopped me in my tracks. And so I walked over, and you guys at the time you were helping the model over the like the boardwalk to get like this really amazing shot on the water.
Yeah.
And so I just went over there. I was like, what is happening right now? I need to know everything. I asked you a little bit about like what you do as a photographer, and I talked to the model. And so that was kind of how I met you. And then from there, I was like, I must interview him because this is so cool. So I'm just going to dive right in. When did you discover photography? When did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Okay. Always taking pictures. My mother, she kind of like planted the seed when I was a young kid, right? She always had a Polaroid and a 35 millimeter, and everywhere and every time she was taking pictures. So I kind of like fell into that. So I've always had a camera. I mean, there was a period in my life where I was doing other things. I wasn't focused on that, but I got refocused about 15 years ago. But I was just taking pictures. You know, I was shooting on automatic with the pop-up flash. I didn't know nothing about photography. It was just automatic. And I was all family events or any events, park picnics, and I was just be the photographer for my family and friends. In April of 2015, I was in a Facebook group, and there was another photographer there. And I was encouraged by a coworker to upgrade my camera. Right? Okay. So I did that, and he kind of like ignited the spark, right? And so I upgraded. I bought me a used camera. I traded my old camera in and got me a used camera and bought me some lenses. And somebody invited me, the guy from this group, he invited me to a mixer. Oh. And when I went to the mixer, it was a fashion show.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. I was bit by the bug, and
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. And well, the underground is a very catty industry.
That's interesting. Talk about like, so you're saying like the underground, like photography and like fashion modeling world is very kind of like catty.
It's very catty. It's very territorial. It's very cliquish. And you know, when in my younger days, I followed everybody around. I wanted to be like everybody else. And when I go into my manhood, you know, I'm an independent individual. You know. But I'm very loving, I'm very caring, I'm very helpful. You know, it's just my nature. And I didn't know my butt from my elbow. I didn't know what I was doing. I just had the passion.
Yeah.
My photos was very sub-level, and so I would reach out, ask people how you do this, how you do that. You know, people were very vicious. They had me buying equipment that I really didn't need because I didn't know no better. And it was trial and error.
Yeah.
Once I figured that out, it kind of, a passion grew stronger in me. I gained this determination to learn it. Yeah. So I engulfed myself, and my poor wife, she's experiencing neglect. this shutterbug passion that I had. And I just engulfed myself in acquiring information on the internet, YouTube, and so forth. And I just shot it. I just practice, and I'm to the point where I am now, you know, and it's pure passion and dedication. And
that's amazing.
and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm far from where I used to
Yeah, well, that's so interesting because I always say this on this show, and again, I'm so grateful that you came on and you were willing and able to do this, because I think for what a lot of people who are first starting out on something, no matter what your age, no matter like what it is,
be. Hmm.
you kind of like explain that so well, because there's this mentality that if you decide to do something, you have to be good at it to do it. You
Hmm.
have to have like, and there are people in the world that have kind of this, you know, natural inclination towards things, but
Hmm.
I don't think, and you are proof of it, you know, with that beautiful way you explained it, is I don't think that if you want to do something, you will inevitably get good at it. You will inevitably gain skills on it because you work on it. And like you said, with the trial and error and figuring everything out. And so I'm so glad to hear you say that, because for people that are listening to this, you know, who may want to try something and who are first getting into something, it's that idea of like, it does take a long time. It does take trial and error. It does take trying, you know, everything under the sun. And you said it too, is like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm like miles from where I used to be. And that's really amazing. For everyone listening, you know, and we'll have the information on my YouTube post, but your page is amazing. Your photos are so cool, and you have such a wide range, because you go all the way to like art avant-garde photography, and then you also have you know, traditional fashion photography, and you have wedding photography and like event photography, and so it's so cool to see all that wide range. And my next question was going to be, you know, are you self-taught or did you go to school? But that answered it, you know, that you
Yeah.
just gone through trial and error, which you can tell everyone. I feel personally, I feel like that can be the best way to do it, because you learn your own method and your own way of doing it, which if somebody goes to school, they might not always do well in that specific method. Because when you're going to school, you're learning, everyone's in the classroom and everyone's learning the same way.
Right.
I think for someone like you, you're saying like you're learning based on like what you pick up, like how you learn it. And I think that's the best way. What would you say in all those years of the trial and error and learning the industry, do you feel like you've created like a process when it comes to capturing like the perfect photo? Or how do you feel like your process has changed, if you do have
Once you begin to understand your camera and you understand lighting, um, there's other levels of technology, technical aspect of photography that I clearly far, far removed from. And I inspired to try to learn. I'm not a technical person. I'm a hands-on person. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So once I get to that, I think it's no holds bar for me. But I think as photographers, I think um, it's like the addict always trying to get that fixed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever, as a photographer, I don't think I ever achieved that perfect picture. And I'm always constantly trying to get that perfect picture.
Yeah.
No matter how good it is, it's never enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Other people might say, wow, that's beautiful, that's a perfect picture. But for me, you know, I'm like, I gotta do better.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and that's my drive.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially because I feel like that speaks to a lot of different art forms, because I feel like no matter what you do, you kind of get to that point of like, I've heard this said in acting, where you will have that moment in your career where you feel in charge of it, like it's not all the time, and it's rare if that, but there will be moments that you're like, you feel in control of this magic, and it sounds like you're describing is like you're always trying to get that hit, you're always trying to get that, you know how it feels, you know, when you've taken like an amazing photo, it's like you capture that magic.
Chasing that high.
What would you say, you put that so well, what would you say, looking back on your career, would be one of those moments, or would be one of those photos if you could think back?
If I think about it offhand, one of the most impactful for me was recently when I had two new models.
Okay.
And I did some tasteful couple nudity,
Yeah.
right? And it was depicting kings and queens.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yes. So that was my Black Queen and King and Queen series. Funny part about it, I had a whole different setup. And when I booked the studio, the person on the other end booked it for the wrong day. So I didn't have, because it was a big white with a big window pane with box windows.
Yeah.
And that, I want to use some natural light, and I just had a whole theme in my head.
Yeah.
And I checked up on the appointment and I realized that they had it for the day before. Right? And I was like, oh, they just threw a monkey wrench in my thing. So I had to choose that other room that had the lights. And I guess that speaks to the flexibility of my creativity, because those came out just so beautiful, and
amazing.
Yeah, and the models, they were very professional, they worked together, and it was a beautiful thing. And matter of fact, shout out to my man Sano and Lanice,
Uh-huh.
Bellis. They did an amazing job. But that was kind of up there for me.
Oh yeah.
In my creativity.
Well, and that's crazy, because it sounds like you would be juggling. First of all, those photos are incredible. Those are one of the.
Thank you.
When I went to your page, they kind of jumped out at me, because not only are they artistically beautiful, but the way you've captured that, and hi.
My grandson leaving.
Oh. The way you captured that, and the way that the photo speaks for itself, like you said, like that. When I looked at those photos, it just said so many things, and it's a photo, so it's just there, but it's speaking so much about, like, you. And it's called, I want to make sure I get this right, it's the Kings and Queens series.
Yeah, the Black Kings and Queens series.
Yeah, the Black Kings and Black Queens series. It was so tremendous and so beautiful. And the models are beautiful. The way that you pose them, all of it was so, it just was one of those things where I saw it and it's going to be in my brain for a long time. Because
thank you.
Yeah. So I guess what I wanted to ask with that, because not only, that's a crazy blow, a last minute blow, to be like, okay, I have to work on the fly here because I don't have the studio that I thought. But then you're dealing with these models, you're dealing with, nudity, you're dealing with all these really, like, complicated things. Do you feel like, because they were so professional and you had the idea of what you wanted, that it all kind of smoothly, or do you have to kind of like navigate that as you go?
Well, it was predetermined. They contacted me because
Okay.
They didn't know each other, but I worked with both of them independently. They started communicating, and they wanted to do a shoot. I suggested it because I know both of their personalities.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew they was confident in their abilities. So I presented that concept to them. And they were like, oh, at first they were like, oh, this is gonna be, they were kind of nervous and all that.
Oh yeah.
But they worked through all that, and so I presented the concept to them and they agreed to it, and then
it just
from that point on, yeah, I did some research. So I looked up some African American Black art.
Yeah.
So that's where I got the concept from. So I seen some of the artwork, and I really want to create some of that art stuff.
Yeah, like that was an inspiration.
Yes, that was the inspiration.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful, and the models are beautiful. The way that you've posed them is beautiful. So I've already said it once or twice, and I'll have the link on my YouTube channel. But yeah, make sure you go to Curtis's Instagram page because those photos are so brilliant. I mean, you have so many brilliant photos on your page,
Thank
but
you.
those ones, and because I think they're early on and they're like more recent in your time feed.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
They're just right there, and it's just so incredible. So I guess my next question would be, you've been here in New York. Did you grow up here? Did you always want to be a New York photographer, or did you think about going somewhere else to do photography?
I was born and raised in the Bronx. Um, I lived in every borough except Staten Island. I'm a New Yorker by heart.
I love it.
I'm here, so I shoot here. For me, I don't care. It can be in a cave,
Yeah.
and I'll make it work.
Yeah.
I'll make it work. You know what I'm saying? So once I'm in the process, I get in the zone. And that's all that I'm like tunnel vision. I'm like in my tunnel and nothing else matters around me.
I love it.
And I'm focused. So it really doesn't matter. If I moved to California, I would be shooting California Hills. But on
camera goes with you everywhere.
Yeah. Go with me, but yeah. When I go on vacation, when I go visit family, I'm always packing my camera.
That's so cool. What would be, if you could choose, what would be your favorite place in New York to shoot?
I love Central Park.
Yeah.
I love Central Park.
You know what's so cool about Central Park that I'm realizing now after I lived here a few years back. I'm back here now, and I'm in Harlem, and I live just
cool.
What?
I said cool.
Oh yeah.
I lived in Harlem too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm at 101. So
okay.
Yeah. So I'm
East.
East.
Oh, whoa, you're in the hood, man.
Yeah. But I love my neighborhood. I like it. We are in this beautiful, diverse neighborhood. Our apartment is on a beautiful street, and I'm only a block away from Central Park. And
right.
I have been really, really fortunate. I usually run about 3 to 4 times a week, and I've gotten to explore so much of Central Park, and it's been so nice. And so I could totally see why you would love it, because there's so many places and so many.
Right. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many places I haven't gone to yet. I'm kind of older, and the body's not as strong as it used to be. I got bad knees, bad back, And so I try to not venture out too much.
just for the big ones. Just for the big ones.
Yes. If need be, yes. I'll make it happen. I'll be suffering that night, but and that's the crazy thing about it, because in this industry, a lot of times, I get paid and I don't get paid. I love photography, and it keeps me practicing. There's a lot that goes to organizing the shoot and staying in contact with people and people being responsible. And a lot of times, it's my policy. I learned. I check the night before, and then I check in the morning.
Yeah.
And I've had people swear on their stack of Bibles, yes, I'm ready, and see you in the morning. You call them in the morning, they don't answer. Stuff like that. And so there's some of the drawbacks to doing this.
Yeah.
But I try to stay active.
Yeah.
I have my regular customers. I have matter of fact, let me shout out, because Junie June was a designer.
Oh yeah, I wanna interview him sometime soon too, because that dress was so amazing. It literally stopped me in my tracks.
We just did a shoot on Sunday. So I have my 2 best designers.
Okay.
That's Marcia. Her brand is Cloud the Slayer, and Junie June is Junie June, right? Delicious Wear. He has Delicious Wear. Them 2 came together, and we did a shoot on 110th Street at Duke Ellington. there on Fifth Avenue, Duke Ellington Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a shoot right there. So it was
That's,
5 females and 2 guys.
oh my God.
Yeah, it came out awesome, man. It came out
That's,
awesome. So I just want to shout them out, Junior June,
yeah.
Closet Slayer.
And put the links to their pages on the YouTube channel as well.
Sure,
So when people
sure.
when they log on, they can click right on it.
Cool, cool.
That's incredible. Yeah, they're both so talented.
Yeah.
I guess I just have a couple more questions, and
Sure,
again, I appreciate your time. This has been so great. What would you say inspires you as a photographer? Like, what are the things that you're thinking of? What are the things that are ideas that you're coming up with for photos and for people that you work with? Like you said that you work with the two designers, which is amazing. So I'm sure you're always coming up with new stuff with that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. My inspiration is to be better.
Nice.
Continue growing. I aspire to be like some of the higher level photographers that's out there. Inspire.
Yeah.
But my ultimate inspiration is to just create photos that are pleasing, that bring joy to others.
I love that. That's that makes me so happy.
Smiles or comfort to people with my photos, then so
yeah.
I strive to get to a place where photos have impact, socially, culturally, mind-provoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm striving to get there.
Yeah.
So fashion is my passion. So I'm kind of like stuck in that mode.
Yeah.
But I plan on doing all kind of things. Most people, like when you look on social media, most people that are really popular and that market well, they stay consistent in the style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's for me.
Yeah.
And I might be shooting myself in the foot, but I really don't care. I'm staying true to me, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that variety is the spice of life.
Yes.
So, I could shoot babies, I could shoot dogs, I shoot anything but a murder.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's so brilliant. And again, I'm so glad that you are speaking that way, because I think especially I have had such a hard time with social media and I've had those exact same thoughts of I could be shooting myself in the foot because I'm not on social media so much. I don't have a Facebook. I use Instagram, but pretty much only to like promote like these conversations with other artists. And I'm constantly thinking that. My brain is like, and like you said, like you have other people and other photographers that have a style, have a thing of like always posting this type of stuff, and it works because they get people that follow them. They know that people are going to come to them for a specific thing or a specific look. But what I think is so special about what you said is you not only are always trying to like try new things and spread that barrier of what you are creating, but you're also challenging yourself. You're also forcing yourself to learn new things, new tricks, new people and new places and new subjects to photograph. And I think that's what overall makes you a good artist, is when you are always breaking the mold and you're always stretching in a different direction, because you could get really good at one thing, but then how exciting is that for someone to come to your page?
It becomes mundane to me.
Yeah.
It becomes mundane. Yeah,
for sure. And I love that. It's so interesting because I just listened to a podcast this morning about Whoopi Goldberg's career. And it's so funny that you said that, because she was talking about when she first started out with acting and different ideas, and she would always go to these auditions and they always wanted the same thing. And she was always looking to do different things and different characters and different, she was a comedian, so she was coming up with different voices and different ideas on things. And so because she was going to all these places that were doing the same thing, she finally eventually just started writing her own show. And then it became a Tony nominated Broadway show that she did. So it's that idea that, you're always doing something different, you're always going to be forced to learn and to grow and to shape yourself to be way more rounded, you know,
Right.
and more experienced.
Because if you don't be careful, we understand what social media is, right? It's a
Right.
monster. It's a monster.
It
It's
is.
a deadly machine, right? And if you don't have that individuality, it can lock you into something. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like Whoopi, she didn't want to be typecast. So
Right.
she created her own.
Right.
And I've always felt that way. You know, when I first came around, you know, I was trying to be like everybody else, and I thought that's what. Then I understood that I have different thoughts and different processes from other people. I don't want to be like you. I
Yeah.
want to gain my own identity and
Yes.
rap. You know what I'm saying? But if
Mhm.
you don't be careful, you could be typecast in this industry.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and it's so hard because we're constantly warring with ourselves to sound and do and, you know, be like the people to the right and to the left of us,
right, right,
you know. And I love hearing you say that because you're resting in this fact that, like, I am my own person and I'm the strongest me there is. Like, I am the best photographer that does this exact thing. So you're the only Curtis that
right.
does it that way. And that's such a beautiful idea. And I'm still learning this, is to let that be enough, because that's going to be stronger than anything else. You trying to be like everybody else is only going to be an imitation of something else. But if
Right.
you're doing what you're doing, no one can copy that. No one,
Right.
you know, no one
I
can.
mean, they can, but and I don't care. I used to get caught up in that in the social media stuff. You know, I used to put information out, and people would run and do it before I do, and all that. And you know, I would get angry, and that's when I was young in this process. I was like maybe 2 years in, and
Yeah.
you know, and that's how vicious people are in this industry. But you know, I was like, hey, that's a compliment to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You
Because
know what
they
I'm saying?
know
So
what you're doing.
yeah, it's a compliment to me.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, I love my haters.
Yeah. I have two more really quick questions because I almost forgot this. I was almost going to skip to our last question, but I want to ask you this because I think it's so cool. So I noticed on your Instagram page, you have like the photos, and then you have, like, if you scroll over to see like different
Yeah.
photos, you'll have what looks to be like instructions or like the type of lens and the type of camera. Talk a little bit about that, because from what it looks like to me, it's like a kind of an educational thing, which I think is so amazing for people who are learning how to be photographers.
Yeah, that actually helped me. Being on Instagram and seeing that, it would give me ideas because what that is camera gear. Well, the camera really doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah.
you can have a $500 camera and you can have a $2,000 camera,
Yeah.
right? If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get the same results.
Yeah. It's not going to matter.
So, but understanding the settings of a specific shot can help guide you on what you need to do. There's other aspects to it because there's this ambient light. If you're in a dark situation, there's lack of ambient light, and how to adjust your settings and your lighting to get the, you know, quality image.
Yeah.
Right? So I began occasionally doing that on something when I feel like I want to spend the time, because it takes a lot. You got it's an app on my phone, then I got to download the picture to my phone, and then
Yeah.
usually I'm just on my computer and I'm uploading pictures,
Yeah.
right? So, and then I gotta have, because I can't remember the settings. I gotta look at settings on my upload, which is Lightroom, and it indicates the settings for you. So it gives you the information. You put the information into the app.
That's
And
really cool.
yeah, and it just helps people understand what settings was used to capture that image.
Yeah. And that, I mean, I think that's a testament to your personality too, because not everybody, I don't think not everybody would be like that. They would be trying to, I know some people, and I've seen this in other industries and in acting and in theater, where somebody sees an opportunity or sees something and they're going to try and hold it for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want people knowing what they're doing or how they're doing it. And I think that is such a cool aspect in your career and your artistry, to be able to give that back to the community and to be able to give that to people who are learning and who want to be good, and they can use you as a reference and they can see like, oh, this person, I really admire his work. And not only do I admire his work, now I can learn how to like be good like he is. And I'm a big believer in karma, and I'm a big believer in the universe returns what you put out. And so I believe that only the good that you put in that and the good that you hope to come out of that with teaching other people, especially budding photographers, that's only going to come back to you in the best ways. So
and for me, I don't look for it, so it really doesn't matter. I just do it because that's who I am.
Yeah.
And that's my personality, period.
Yeah.
That's just my personality, period. So
I love it.
Because my 9 to 5 is I'm a counselor in a shelter.
Oh, that's amazing! Oh my gosh, that could be a whole nother episode.
So it's my personality. I just like helping people.
Yeah. What is the name of the shelter that you work at?
I don't want to give them a shout out.
Oh, no problem. Enough said.
But it's in Canarsie. It's a domestic partner shelter. So that could be boyfriend and girlfriend. It could be an aunt and uncle, mother and a father.
Yeah.
Wife and it could be married. It could be anybody that was living together for 6 months to a year and can prove it. They can become a domestic partner and come into.
Yeah.
That's children is 18 and older.
Okay.
And just to give you an idea, in the shelter system, 95% of the population are dually diagnosed, so they come with substance abuse and mental health issues.
Yeah, that's incredible work. I mean, it's
hard, but I go every day, man, because I get cursed out, threatened and all that, but I go every day, man, because eventually I'm gonna get through.
Yeah. Do you feel like that is such heavy and incredible and necessary work? And I thank you for so much, first of all, for sharing that. And I think that is so admirable. Do you feel like, having done that for so long, how has that changed your perspective on life in general, like on your life and just life in general?
It's kind of like I've been doing it for about 26 years.
Wow.
And there's spirits of valleys and hills.
Okay.
I've been doing this so long. It's too far in between, but I could be walking down the street, and because I've had thousands of clients, and somebody was, hey, Mr. Taitt, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You don't remember me from such and such a place, right? And then they would share. This happened to me not as often, but often enough in my career.
Yeah.
It gives me the hope.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they tell me, it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in the position that I am now, So it's rewarding.
Yeah. And it's
rewarding.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've taken those concepts and those ideas and that inspiration into your art, because like you said, you're doing this for other people and you're giving back that way too. So that's incredible.
But sometimes the models are just like the client. They're ungrateful.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Well, I guess that leads me. That's a perfect segue into my last question. And it would be, speaking of inspiration and karma and giving back and all this amazing work that you're doing, I have really, over the course of my lifetime, really learned how important self-care and meditation and prayer, whatever you do to bring yourself a little bit of quiet and stillness, peace, whatever that looks like to the individual, I have realized how important that is, especially as I get into my older adult life.
Yes.
And what I find myself doing, I'll go on long runs, or I'll meditate, or I'll do yoga, and every kind of aspect in that, I will try to take a couple minutes, whether it's during my run or at the end of yoga, or if I'm praying or meditation, and just try to think of the goodness in my life, the gratitude I have for whatever it may be, whatever it may look like. And having said that, what I always like to ask guests this on the show, what do you look at and say, what is my love and light in the world? Like, where do you view as your love and light from a day-to-day basis?
Oh, my love and light. I guess I'm an individual who does his best
Yes,
to not cause any harm.
I love that.
I'm very conscious of how I impact people.
Yeah.
I had to find a balance because there was a period in my life, and I went through it because I went through some things in my life when I became real vulnerable. I was always the type of person. I was a latchkey kid, man. So I was the only child.
Okay.
So you can understand that aspect, right? I always and being half Hispanic and half African American, growing up in the '60s, you know, it was like I didn't have no identity because I wasn't Puerto Rican enough and I wasn't black enough. You know what I'm saying? So I lived a large portion of my life trying to please people.
Yeah.
Right? And those are deep rooted issues, right? And although I've worked on it, sometimes they resurface.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know? Sometimes they resurface. So I have to check myself at times because people tend not to appreciate. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and people would chew up the weak and spit them out, right?
Yeah.
I had enough of that in my lifetime. So I'm at a place where I'm very humble, and I'm very direct and honest.
I love that. That's the only way to do it, because.
But most people can't handle that.
No, and that's funny, because that's what I was actually just about to say was, you learn, you know, that you can be a kind, caring, loving person, and you can still be direct, and you can still take care of yourself.
Yes.
And that's the best, healthiest way to do it. And it's when if you feel bad because someone else isn't respecting you, that's on them, not on you.
I just think.
Yeah, because when you've done that work to know that, you know, you said, like, I was a kind, caring, giving person for a long time. I knew where my weaknesses were, and I finally started to be direct and honest. And when you are direct and honest, I feel like if people are going to have issue, it's on them, because you're doing everything responsible for yourself.
Right.
You know?
And this industry has helped me with that. It helped me get over that hump.
Yeah.
It really did, because all the cattiness, the clickiness, and you know, I got vicious attacks.
Wow.
And that's what, for the first 2 years, I was in that clique, and then I removed myself. And when I removed myself, they really didn't like that, so they gave it to me even more.
Yeah.
And I had to come to myself, you know, because people tried to make it think that it was me.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the issue. You know, they tried to make me feel like I'm the one with the issue, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
Because I understand who I am. I know who I am, and I know what I'm about.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if that's what's gonna make you feel better, by all means, stay deluded. But I know what's true.
Yes. And that's the thing, is because once you know yourself well enough to know this is the pattern that's happening, this is where I'm starting to feel off, only you know yourself. Mm-hmm. And so when people are giving that back to you, or they're not respecting that, that's a big lesson that I've had to learn too, is that when you get to that good place where you know, I love what you said about wanting to do no harm, wanting to be good and kind in this world. And because you know that's your goal, and that's a beautiful goal. So if anyone is coming at you, you know that that's on them, because your goal is to do good.
Right.
And so if someone's trying to get in that way, you know, that has to be on them, because they're not respecting you. And the only way for you to do good too is to take care of yourself.
Oh, I can't do for nobody else if I don't do for me.
Right.
If I don't take care of me, I can't do nothing for nobody else.
I love that. So, but you are the best. I can't thank you enough for doing
I appreciate you having me on, man. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I look forward to looking back at this and looking at myself, how crazy I look and sound.
No, it was great. It was good. It was good. And I'm just excited for people to discover you. I'm gonna put up a ton of your stuff on Instagram. This should go up in about probably sometime tomorrow, probably afternoonish. But yeah, so it'll be
Take your time, man. Just give me a heads up, man, so I can help promote you as well, brother. All right?
Absolutely. So thank you again, Curtis. I will see you later.